Hello and fuck cape shit. Welcome to another Shittywebcomics Weekly, brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers.
Hello, shit, cape fuck.
And hello. Donate to us on Subscribe Star to become paper pig on your uniform. But also to get all the wonderful extra bonus videos, lots and lots of deep dives and extra reviews, and it's not just reviews of comics, but it's also the
Observation. Observation on how the court is civilized.
isn't it? But isn't it though? Pig.
The reality and personal experience.
Yeah, that's right. There's actually a real gold mine of people legitimately clamor. Like, I don't know if people are like, who pays for your Subscribe Star? A lot of people, in fact, people who hate us pay us to listen to our videos. That's not even me speculating. There are legitimate hate watchers. If people are willing to pay us to hate watch us,
I am speculating myself. What the hell are they doing? Do they have so little self-respect?
What?
Yes.
Yeah, the answer to that is yes. But also, they need to know what we're saying, because even the people who hate us know that we're beyond the cutting edge. We're
Ethan Van Sciver himself is like starting to take our talking points.
Yeah,
and by starting, I mean this video is going up in like a couple of months. But he's been doing it for the past half a year, if not longer.
Well, he's been doing it for the past 5 years. He started his channel by parroting our talking points. The thing is that he doesn't hold to them, of course. He just repeats them without actually, any actual meaning to them.
All he has to do is go on some other Eceleb Vegas fucking show and hope that just repeating talking points will be enough, and it is.
It is enough for the Untermensch, the normie pig cattle, or NPC, if you will. But anyways, we just wanted to get back into Sinfest, because Sinfest has been continuing its dive into turfdom, extremely turf, to the point where it's kind of legitimately entertaining. It was entertaining in a sort of cow-watching way before, but now it's getting to the point where it's gone really bonkers. But just to start off with, Pleb Comics, who anyone who read our blog would be, of course, familiar with her. But she just a few days ago, April 16th in this case, when you're watching this, it won't be a few days ago, but she just says, did Tetsuya Ishida forget his name is called Sinfest? Emphasis Sin, slightly less emphasis Fest. She makes another tweet saying, like, man, imagine having a comic called Sinfest, and it's about puritanical radical feminism instead. I replied saying, now it's full turf and every single comic is about dick snipping, but only in the way that it's bad that men will come in and ruin women things. Crowbar says, there's a guy on your Discord, he says, every single attempt of introducing some sort of character or arc is abruptly interrupted by some other nonsense, and the comic continues to be incoherent mess of mixed political propaganda. It's not just that, but references to outdated things, and then just sometimes movie reference. Like, here's one, April 18th, Drones 6, this one's called, but it's just stop oil, save the planet, soup, and then someone splashes soup onto a painting. And one devil says sacrilege, and another person, some kind of vaguely crazy person, just goes, how much was that? Which I don't know if how much was the painting, or how much soup was it, or how much was the soup. I don't know. Here's another one.
This is where a talented creator comes in with their comic and makes that clear instead of making it confusing.
Yeah, this one is just reference. Remember when the crazy environmentalists were throwing soup at paintings? Not really, but this is about a month or two too late to even get into that. Here is this was after one of the shootings that was done by a trans community person, but it's White House spokesperson saying, "Our deepest condolences to the trans community. Keep fighting. We got your back. Pew pew pew." And then it's trans people who are like the droogs from Clockwork Orange who say "message received," and the text above Tetsuya's name says, "I was cured all right," which is a reference, of course, to the final line in Clockwork Orange. And then here's another comic that's just a more straight up reference to Clockwork Orange. Ready for a bit of the old ultra violence, Clockwork Rainbow. So far, just a lot of these they're not even takes on Clockwork Orange, they're just literally, remember Clockwork Orange? Well, here is Clockwork Orange. But then it's, he has his eyes strapped open, and it's these messages of die cis scum, protect trans kids, I punch turfs and kill the turf. Very interesting and dead turfs. That's interesting that he signals that out, and then at the end says, "I'm cured," which is basically the exact same thing from the previous comic. It's the same thing. This one was from the 13th. This was from the 12th. So these are two. This one came first, and then this one came next. So it was just sort of the same idea being repeated. And so, a lot of the recent comics are still incoherent and confusing. Like, here's one of the Sunday strips where it's just a girl picks nunchucks, she bonks herself, so she wanders off, she goes into a building, she's in an art museum, and she sees some art things and statues. And that is the comic. And it has something to do with the overall story of how the devils are into the art community.
The Sinfest lore.
The Sinfest lore, an extended universe of how the devils are sort of art snobs and into artistic something. So I don't know. Here's one. She says, "Nice blade. Hey, mister, how much for the blade, lady?" And the devil guy who's I don't know, in charge of the place says $6.66 million. And she goes, "Ooh, is there a monthly payment plan?" And that's the whole comic, which is at least closer to a joke, but then it has nothing to do with any of the other stuff going on.
It's one panel shy of being a punchline.
And so here's the most recent one so far.
Like the opposite of the CAD rule.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's like it doesn't actually get to a punchline at any point. But here's the most recent comic where devil girl some devil lady sitting on a chair watching screens of things where she goes, "Ugh, tree tards," and the environmentalist protesters are saying, "What's more important, earth or art, people or paintings?" And then the devil lady, just sitting there watching, I guess talking to her TV like grandma, says, "Paintings all day, every day." And that's the whole comic. It's very oops, I forgot to tell a joke, but I mean, it's interesting to sort of see the spiral. And the fact that he's still doing these every single day. He stopped making all of the image files GIFs. He started making all of the pages colored. And his main focus is basically anti-trans comics, except from the perspective of a TERF, which is trans exclusionary radical feminist. In other words, a feminist who is against trans people, trannies, troons, troonaloons, whatever you want to call them.
Basically, it's like a super simp. In his case, it's super simping.
Yeah, it's ultra feminist. It's so feminist that you're against trans people.
You're essentially betraying men in need of medical attention,
or
so that you can pay attention to women's whining. about guys in in their bathroom.
Yeah, as we had been saying for so many years, going back so many years, that to this point, it's kind of irrelevant to even bring it up anymore. Is that the entire trend of the trans community or movement or whatever, the big resurgence or insurgence, perhaps, a lot of it just comes from a cultural and societal hatred of the entire male gender, to the point where men would rather be just like mutilating themselves and disfiguring themselves and trying to turn themselves into, to give themselves any special, people want special status so that they can be assigned into a marginalized group, so they can say, I'm this marginalized group, therefore I have this purpose in life to do this.
Women are the easiest marginalized group to be, because they get to pretend that they're like the victims of. There's we were just also posting about this yesterday. The woman is the N-word.
Yeah,
of the world.
The John Lennon song. Somebody some tweet that said John Lennon wrote that song not because that they were marginalized, but because they ruin everything. And that was somebody else's opinion, but it is interesting to note that people are really missing the point. We said, years ago, Tetsuya was in favor of this very thing. Feminists were in favor of this very thing. And then men were coming along, mutilated men were coming along and destroying the things that women sort of had to themselves, which some of those things were things that were originally men's things, like sports. And so women's sports were an attempted sort of invasion of men's concepts, which was harmless ultimately, but then men are basically going back into that. And feminists originally supported that because, intersectionality and that kind of stuff. And now it's completely backfiring, and women and feminists are suddenly against this. And it's, again, all of it stemmed originally from the fact that men really have always been seen as disposable in culture.
It's a battle now at this point. There's still women who are like fucking on board with the idea, because of course it's about destroying men, destroying masculinity, convincing men to cut their dicks off, because 80% of men are considered unattractive.
And if you're hearing, by the way, this is very important, if you're hearing other YouTubers ever talk about how masculinity is under attack or masculinity is demonized, that came from after us. It was us who was saying that first.
Mm-hmm. And these same people were attacking us for that. It's like, oh, you're fucking...
Or they are now, yes. That's what's happening now, is a lot of those people who are pretending to hold those views that we were saying when it wasn't safe to say on YouTube, now those people are monetized and they hate us because we're actually honest and we're not
actually hold
just there to
our ideals
promote fake beliefs.
We hold true to all of it from the start.
Yeah, we've been morally consistent.
These guys are worried that their wives are going to fucking divorce them if they don't sing the right
Which
tune.
They will. I mean, their wives are already fucking other guys, and they know about it. It's very common. A lot of your favorite YouTubers who are supposedly for men's rights and against male abuse are cuckolds in real life, and they also have never really had any problem with male abuse. They're just jumping onto the marketing spin. They weren't in favor of it when it was unsafe to say, when you would be instantly demonetized for even talking about it. And we weren't the only people. It's not like we were the only people on YouTube. We're not saying that, of course. There were a lot of other people. There were other MGTOW people on YouTube, and Terrence Popp and all that kind of stuff. Barbarossa, even Sandman, but also Stardust, that kind of stuff. There were other people on YouTube who were doing videos talking about this very thing. But we were also there, and again, they've been morally consistent, we've been morally consistent, but now a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon to pretend to hold these views, but in practice, they do not. the same way, for example, shining example, one of the most perfect examples, which is why he is worth bringing up, is Nick Rekieta, who is, people unironically thought he was a based trad Christian. And even he seems to be making fun of his own fans now who thought that. But we knew all along that he wasn't, of course. We were the only ones talking about it, and we were correct, and his fans were pissed off about it. Now his fans are coming to us and being like, sorry, I guess you guys were right about him all along. It's like, yes, we were. We always are, because we don't have a vested, we don't have monetization. We don't have a monetized interest in pretending about it. So yeah, he has a lot of friends also who, well, that's what it's really about, is as Bro Team used to joke about, content creators support each other. He used to make fun of that all the time, to sort of make fun of the concept of untalented content creators feeling entitled to being promoted by other
sharing each
creators.
Other's fame, since let's face it, some of them are famous for no good reason. Some of them don't even have fame, and they don't deserve it. Most of them don't deserve it.
99% of them are simply promoted by the others and by the rest of them and by each other, because they believe that all of them should be promoting each other. And then if they don't, like Tug very famously had giant meltdowns because he didn't feel that other people in Comicsgate were promoting him enough, because of course he's not a creator. He doesn't write or draw or do anything, but he vacuumed up a bunch of money from people who were desperate to be told what they wanted to hear, even if it was a lie, even if he was just selling, even if he's like a child abuser behind, which he is. That's not even up for debate. He is actually a child abuser.
It's not hyperbole. It's not us fucking trolling or anything.
Yeah, he's an actual.
He abuses children.
It's very commonly accepted.
Telephone time with his daughter to a pedophile.
Yeah, convicted pedophile. Yeah,
knowing he was a pedophile.
Yeah, that's not a joke or anything. And I mean, let's face it, that doesn't happen on accident. You don't give your attention, your child's attention, to a convicted pedophile just on accident because you didn't know he was a pedophile. That never happens. People need to smarten up. But I mean, it's been long too late for them to smarten up.
Or at the very least, laugh at them more. But these people are like defending him. It's like, oh, he's a base Chad dad. He's not a childless weirdo. And it's like, okay, he's a weirdo though. He's worse than a childless weirdo.
I mean, yeah, you really want a child abuser to have children and celebrate that and say, that's a good thing. Hey, at least he has kids. And it's like, that's a bad thing if he's abusing the kids, though. Again, everyone else in society they don't even understand their own priorities or their beliefs because none of them are real. And that's the thing, is that's one of the most valid criticisms of Christianity today, unfortunately, because there are a lot of Christians that we know personally who are decent people, who don't have these problems, who aren't fucking all fucked up in the head or whatever. But there's a lot of people who call themselves Christians. That's really the problem. People who are calling themselves Christians who support objectively outward immoral behavior, and they will completely ignore it and look the other way every single time just because they think that's a good thing, that's a moral thing, when there's no aspect of it at all. But anyways, that's all sorts of other topics that are, I guess, unrelated to Sinfest. So
I guess we still have to go back. We have to backpedal and cover Sinfest again.
Well, no, we just did. That's really why. Okay. So
okay, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were touching on Sinfest again, because every couple of months people are sending Sinfest comics, posting Sinfest comics, and it's like a lot of them are. In fact, there was another one. Let me try and go. I think it's further back. But there was, of course, these Clockwork Orange references. But oh yeah, here was one that was really odd. Was Love Ya Tee Hee, and oh yeah, it was about the Miller Lite or Bud Light, whatever, cans. So the pig guy throws them away and says boycott, and then you mean girl cot, right? Teehee, and then a bunch of ads that are just talking to him. Now, this is one of the only times, I think this might be the first time that the pig guy was ever portrayed as a positive person or in the right in any way, which means that Tetsuya's basically, he's gone trans himself. He has inverted his values in a way. Here's another one. Meanwhile, in Canada, we demand to be taken seriously, blah, blah, blah. And then just at the end, a panel of two girls going red rum. So just a reference to The Shining out of nowhere. Here was one where apparently a tranny goes into a church, does a mass shooting, and then gets a Medal of Freedom.
These to not red panels, but the guy who does red panels now.
The current red panels, you mean Stone Toss?
Yeah,
the same thing. Yeah, I think we did an episode of Shitty Webcomics Weekly where we directly compared Stone Toss to Sinfest. So
you know what, we could do.
If you want to see that, go check that out.
We could keep doing that. I mean, if we're going to cover Sinfest at all, we might as well.
This one's actually relatively decent just because of how completely pointed and on the nose it is, where the a trans person does a mass shooting and then gets a medal directly from Biden with a press conference, with a glowing press conference. Here's another one, the V for Vengeance, which is weirdly specific, but also from somebody who clearly was a big fan of the original V for Vendetta. We remember years ago, everyone acted like V for Vendetta was actually making a good political statement, when the fact is, this is really what V for Vendetta was promoting. And in fact, you can look at the creators for proof of that.
Yeah, it's just degeneracy for the sake of degeneracy.
Yeah, with, again, fake political views. There's a big aspect of that was very odd and sort of muddled and you could say self-confused. That was in the movie, and Tetsuya was completely on board with being in favor of that, of being like, oh yeah, he's a great hero. He's a great hero. He's a great person to emulate, and he would do comics with his own very lazy take. That's one thing that's still never changed. He'll just throw in a reference, and it'll just basically be a reference. There's not much punchline, if ever, for any comics. But the spin out has at least been slightly more entertaining lately. So, anyways, yeah, that'll just wrap up for Sinfest. If you want to hear a lot more in-depth stuff about all sorts of things, about the culture and what everyone else will be. The same way that we had been saying all the stuff about, men's rights and the way the culture was going years ago, and now everyone else does.
Way back in the day on the fucking blog, and people would say that we clearly hated women.
Or that we talked about it too much.
That's all that happened.
Yeah, or the people would say that we talked about it too much, or that it wasn't important. Now all of them, now everyone else is parroting, sometimes down to the exact words that we used. People who hate us are using our exact words, our exact talking points. Every single person who hates us parrots us and is basically trying to pretend to be us. So if you want to see what they're going to be saying in the next 5 years, donate. The only way is to donate to our Subscribestar and watch all of our videos, every single one of them, perhaps multiple times. So if you want to know the truth, donate to our Subscribestar. If you don't want to know the truth, don't donate to our Subscribestar. But you should anyways.
And then if you don't want to know the truth, also donate more to our Subscribestar.
Yeah, and then just don't watch our videos. Just donate, but not watch our videos if you don't want to know
Share our videos everywhere and tell everyone how much you hate us because of the things we said about your favorite e-celebs.
Your gay favorite e-celebs. Donate the monetary equivalent of a manual typewriter to us for your only hope for a future. And for everyone else, though, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.